The retail store Target has announced it will stop selling items marked just for boys or for girls, or men and women. The United States and 11 other Pacific nations have agreed to a trade pact that would affect 40% of the world's economy. A Granada Hills fair has taught Southern Californians how to better prepare for disasters like earthquakes or floods.
This is Valley View News.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Maria Cartaya.
And I'm Serena Sandoval.
With the help of a parent's request, the biggest box store in the U.S. is helping balance gender equality through their toy signs. Valley View News reporter Alexi Chibachian has more info on this huge change.
Boys versus girls, blue versus pink. There has always been a distinct difference in the labeling of kids' toys and merchandise in stores. However, retailers are starting to redefine gender stereotypes one aisle at a time. Target has removed gender-based signage.
Signs that say these are boys' toys or these are girls' toys. What if a young boy wants to play with some of the toys that are traditionally seen as toys that young girls play with? What would be wrong with that? And vice versa.
Before this change occurred, there was a separate aisle for boy Legos and another aisle for girl Legos. However, now customers can find both Lego sets in just one aisle. Target is hoping this change will strike a better balance within the stores.
My son actually likes pink, and so now he's actually able to go through an aisle and pick something that's pink.
They have also removed pink, blue, yellow, and green background colors on the aisles. In a statement, Target said that suggesting merchandise based on gender was no longer necessary.
Why can't girls play with guys stuff too, like the cars, and just why can't the girls don't have to just play with dolls and all that stuff? They can play with cars too, like boys.
The change occurred shortly after a parent tweeted this photo of one of the aisles asking the retailer to stop gender coding products. This is the new sign people can see. However, this change is causing much controversy among parents. Now people are saying their kids will be confused on their gender because they won't have signs to help guide them.
Part of it may be that parents are not used to the idea that their children will not be harmed if they don't learn gender behavior.
Many customers tell me that this new change may cause them to view gender stereotypes in a different way. In Woodland Hills, Alexi Chibashian for Valley View News.
An Amtrak passenger train has derailed in Vermont. Officials say there were about 80 passengers on board. At least 4 people were hurt. The train was traveling about 50 miles an hour when it hit a rock slide. Some passengers say they saw large rocks on the tracks as the train derailed.
Police at Cal State University Northridge say a student was sexually assaulted near the campus. The student apparently tried to get in to see the big show, one of CSUN's most popular events. She was turned down because it was sold out. As the student was walking home alone, someone reportedly grabbed her from behind and sexually assaulted her. The attack occurred in the alley of Vincennes and Perry Street. The student was transported to a hospital. The suspect has not been caught, but was described as a male Hispanic weighing about 130 pounds and wearing dark clothing.
The U.S. Coast Guard is looking for survivors after a huge cargo ship went missing near the Bahamas. Search and rescue teams have found life jackets, containers, and an oil slick and believe they belong to the ship. But officials have not found the 33 crew members on board the 790-foot vessel. The Coast Guard says there were no survivors on the lifeboat that was found.
What we have to assume as search planners is if the vessel did sink on Thursday and that crew was able to abandon ship, they would have been abandoning ship into a Category 4 hurricane. So you're talking up to 140 mile an hour winds, seas upwards of 50 feet, visibility basically at 0. Those are challenging conditions to survive in.
Officials also say the ship sent a distress signal that it had no electricity and was taking on water.
The U.S. Supreme Court will soon focus on some of the nation's most controversial issues. The court's lineup includes regulation of abortion clinics in Texas and whether religious institutions can be required to provide birth control. The justices will also consider the role of race in college admissions. Some legal observers say the lineup of cases suggests that conservatives will win more often than lose. This comes after liberals won major cases of the issues of gay marriage and health care.
A flood in South Carolina has killed 9 people and stranded hundreds during the worst rainstorm in the U.S. this season. Governor Nikki Haley says some parts of the coast received up to 2 feet of rain in 24 hours. Officials say 26,000 people were without power. A flood watch was in effect from Georgia to Delaware. Weather experts have called it a 1,000-year event. That means there is a 1 in 1,000 chance such a flood could happen in any given year.
The 8th Annual Valley Disaster Preparedness Fair invited families to learn what to do in the event of a natural disaster. Valley View News reporter Ashton Smith went to the fair and says there is a lot to learn.
The annual Valley Disaster Preparedness Fair that takes place in Granada Hills is a free event that teaches families how to prepare for major emergencies. Many different types of exhibitors take time to teach people things like using a fire extinguisher and electrical safety. Prominent community officials even came to speak on important issues such as school safety.
Public schools in the state of California are built to a higher construction standard and inspected continuously throughout the construction process.
And to prepare families even more, emergency starter kits were passed out to those who registered.
This is not a full kit. This is just to get you started and get you actively involved in your community and getting yourself prepared when it does happen.
Since the valley is so close to the San Andreas Fault, this community has continuously been preparing for the big one since the Northridge earthquake.
We had scheduled 27 neighborhood councils, which is a major part of the city. They can each talk with one another, see what is happening. I've had several already say, we'd like to try to form an emergency preparedness committee. Can you help? Of course, that's what we're here.
At the Valley Disaster Preparedness Fair, there was even opportunities to give blood and potentially save a life. In Granada Hills, Ashton Smith, Valley View News.
2 Palestinian teenagers have been killed during clashes with the Israeli military in the West Bank. The violence spread following recent attacks that killed 4 Israelis. Israel's prime minister will continue to destroy homes belonging to Palestinians involved in the attacks. Israel will also ban anyone involved in riots from the Old City and the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. There are fears that the violence will grow worse and risk a third intifada.
At least 19 people were killed when a U.S. airstrike in Afghanistan hit a Doctors Without Borders hospital. The victims were 12 staffers and 7 patients in the city of Kunduz. The organization says 3 children were among the dead and 37 people were injured. The U.S. and Afghanistan say they will investigate the attack. Afghan ministers earlier claimed Taliban fighters were hiding inside the hospital. Doctors Without Borders says it is disgusted by the Afghan minister claims. It says the Kunduz facility was the only working trauma hospital in the region before it was destroyed. President Obama is yet to make a public comment about the incident.
The United States and 11 other Pacific Rim countries have signed their largest trade agreement ever. The deal will reduce barrier between the 12 nations and have an impact on 40% of the world's economy. It will also be a model for working standards and establish uniform rules on corporation intellectual property. This pact is a milestone achievement for President Obama's foreign policy shift toward closer relations with fast-growing Eastern Asia.
Cars and cancer are not usually associated with each other, but at this year's Cruising for a Cure event in Costa Mesa, men were encouraged to bring in their cars while educating themselves about prostate cancer. Valley View News reporter Harry Ebilson shows how a simple car show can have big meaning.
Vintage cars of all different shapes and sizes were on display at this year's Cruisin' for a Cure event in Costa Mesa. Some of the renovated cars were built over 100 years ago. Car owner Gary Whale says the amount of work it takes to keep the cars in good condition makes this event special.
They contacted the crazy guy in LA, me, and my friend and I, Andres Aranda, turned these into rolling bits of sculpture. Every year it gets bigger, it gets better.
A live band and over 200 vendors volunteered at the event. But even with all the entertainment, a group of cancer survivors stole the show. 100-year-old prostate cancer survivor Howard Baker says he is grateful to be alive.
Just lucky to make it. Lucky I survived. Lucky I made it to 100. What else? You can't predict anything. I might not make it home. Who knows? You might not make it home. You never know.
Debbie Baker says this is an event near and dear to her heart and has saved many lives.
In the last 16 years, we've tested well over 10,000 men and saved over 4,000 guys that had no idea they had prostate cancer. My husband was diagnosed with this in 1996, and he fought it for 12 years, and then he lost his life 7 years ago from it. So it's a very easy cancer to catch, and that's why I get the guys in here. And what a better way to get the guys in here with their cars, and they can do it at the same time and have a good time.
Over 20,000 people are here to take a look at the cars on display, but event officials are saying cruising for a cure and taking a prostate cancer screening exam at the location behind me is what's really important. In Newport Beach, I'm Harry Abelson, Valley View News.
American Apparel has filed for bankruptcy. On Wall Street, the clothing company's stock price dropped below $1 into the range of a penny stock. The company listed numerous creditors, with the biggest one claiming $15 million. American Apparel was funded in 1998 by its former CEO, Dov Sharney. It was known for its sexy advertising. Sharney was fired last year for allegations of mismanagement and sexual harassment.
Donald Trump still leads in the Republican nomination battle in Iowa and New Hampshire. The latest national poll from the Pew Research Center shows that Trump is favored by 25% of the potential voters. Ben Carson is supported by 16%. Trump told NBC's Meet the Press that he believes in polls. He said he would drop out of the race if his polls numbers drop too much. Meanwhile, in the Democratic contest, Hillary Clinton leads with the 47% support in Iowa. Bernie Sanders is at 36%.
When we come back, Valley View sits down with CSUN's head basketball coach.
Also, there is a scandal in the Louisville basketball program, and the brother of a Dodger pitcher has been shot.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Now let's go to sports with Jacqueline Serrano.
Basketball season is right around the corner. Valley View News reporter Jordan Salcedo sat down with CSUN's men's basketball coach Reggie Theus to talk about the Matadors' upcoming season.
Thank you. I'm here with CSUN's head basketball coach, Reggie Theus. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be here. What a great building. You guys got a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah, it's we're getting up there. So last year's season didn't have the ideal outcome. What do you expect to see from this year's season? Is there any new talent we can look forward to seeing on the court?
Well, we're going to be young. Obviously the guys set out last year that are going to be playing this year, and they were freshmen, so now they didn't get that practical experience on the floor. So we'll be young, we'll be talented, but young. You'll come up and say, God, Coach, how'd you beat those guys? I mean, that's a good team. And then you'll look at me and say, how'd you lose those guys? So that's kind of the way it might go this year.
Very nice. What would you say are the strengths and weaknesses of the team this year, going along with them being young?
We're athletic. We're very talented and we're athletic. We have decent depth, but I would say that last couple of years, we didn't have guys that can take the ball off the floor. These guys can create and do things on their own. Last couple of years, I've had to call every play. This year, we're going to open the floor up and play much more open, much faster, and hopefully we'll get the chance to play 94 feet, which means we'll pick up 94 feet, we'll play fast tempo basketball, and we'll play in defense 94 feet.
What would you say the mentality of the team is this year? What are you really trying to implement in your coaching style?
You know, I really hope these guys are hungry. You know, they're young, and judging the way they've been working all summer in the weight room, doing the extra workouts, watching them. Yesterday was our first day of practice. It was inspiring. I think we have a young, hungry group of guys that want to get out there and get it done.
Yeah, that's. I definitely feel like it. It really just comes to who plays, who shows up to play, not necessarily the year or the seniority. I guess you could say it's really who shows up.
It's an attitude.
Yeah,
it's an attitude, and you know, there's no exception for experience. But you know, when you have guys that are motivated and that are hungry, and when I say young guys make mistakes. Young guys don't have the experience because they haven't had enough time on the dance floor, and I have to teach them. You know, winning is a learned experience, so you have to teach them how to win. And sometimes that learning curve, whatever happens in that learning curve, has a lot to do with how long it takes for your team to gel.
How well do you think you guys will do in Big West this year?
That's hard to say. Yeah, I don't know if I want to step out there like that, but I expect us to compete. And again, toward the middle of the season, we'll have a better idea, obviously, how well we're playing. But I think, we're just as talented as anybody in the league. We just don't have the experience nor the depth.
Definitely. So I understand your son Reggie Jr. has transferred to CSUN.
Yeah.
And he's going to play in the 2016-2017 season. How do you feel about coaching him? I kind of saw that you coached him before, but how do you feel about it at the collegiate level?
Well, coaching him before, obviously, I have a great relationship with my son, and he played really well for me as a youngster. It was 8th grade, 9th grade AAU team. And, you know, I know his buttons. I know which buttons to push. I know which buttons not to push. And I'm just really looking forward to it. I started coaching in 2004, so I missed a lot of his high school career. I caught the last couple of years, but I missed the first couple. So this is a chance for us to renew our bond and really get after it. And he knows it's tough because I'm probably harder on him than I am the other guys. And then it doesn't just end there because I take it home with us sometimes.
Definitely.
Yeah. He gets it in the car on the ride home sometimes too.
Along with your son, there's also other transfers such as from UConn, Washington, and UNLV. What are your expectations of the future of this program?
I think the future of the program is in phenomenal shape. Having a young team right now, plus you have guys sitting out. We have only 2 seniors. Well, we have a 5th-year guy, so 3 seniors. Next year, we only have 1 senior. So the future of the team is in great shape. I'm really happy with the direction of where the team is.
Well, I'm very excited as well. So you can check out the Matadors at Matador Madness. Tell us a little bit about this event, Matador Madness.
It's our version of Midnight Madness. It's a lot of fun. This coming Friday, next Friday. Next Friday? Next Friday.
Friday, October the 16th.
Yes, next Friday. It's 3 days after my birthday, by the way. And, you know, it's the first look of the campus, getting a chance to see our entire team together. Don't be surprised. We have 19 players on our team right now, which is really a lot of guys.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last year, and they've done it. Each year you get a little bit better at it, so I'm expecting big things.
All right, great. You can visit gomatadors.com for more information on the event. Thank you again for joining me today. Back to you in the studio.
The University of Louisville and the NCAA are investigating claims of improper conduct by a former staffer. Former player and director of basketball operations, Andre McGee, was named in a book by Katina Powell. She claims McGee paid her to provide women who had sex with players and recruits. McGee admitted he knows Powell, but denied the allegations. Current and past Louisville players say they are not aware of any misconduct. McGee is now an assistant coach at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. He has been put on paid administrative leave while both Louisville and the University of Missouri investigate. The brother of a Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher has been wounded in a shooting. The victim is Joel Ravin, brother of a Dodger relief pitcher, Josh Ravin. The shooting took place outside of Ravin's West Hills home. Ravin's mother says he was shot 5 times. The Los Angeles Police Department says Joel Ravin is in a stable condition after surgery. Police investigators and Ravin's family say they believe the gunman and Ravin knew each other. The UCLA Bruins lost their fifth-week home game against the Arizona State Sun Devils. The Bruins started the game without 4 of their starting defensive players. They came within 6 in the fourth quarter, but they never got any closer. The final score was 38-23. The Bruins are now ranked 20th by the Associated Press. They will play Stanford next. Dodger pitcher Clayton Kershaw has become the second Dodger to strike out 300 or more batters in a regular season. Kershaw went into the last season Game 6 strikeouts shy of the 300 mark. Kershaw struck out 7 batters in the final game against the San Diego Padres. Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling were the last Major League pitchers to reach the 300 mark. That was back in 2002. The Dodgers will go into the National League Divisional Playoffs with home field advantage against the New York Mets. The Major League Baseball regular season has come to an end in dramatic fashion. The last game of the season had significance for many teams. The Texas Rangers defeated the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim to take the AL West crown and knock the Angels out of the playoff contention. The New York Yankees will play the Houston Astros, and the Chicago Cubs will play the Pittsburgh Pirates in a winner-go-home wild-card game. The winners of those games will go on to play the Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals in the division series. The Los Angeles Dodgers will also be hosting the New York Mets, and the Toronto Blue Jays will be hosting the Texas Rangers in the division series. That's all for sports. Back to you.
When we come back, we'll show you a Los Angeles Octoberfest for vegans.
And we'll tell you why many Disneyland lovers are upset.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning? Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Hey!
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft. To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Los Angeles is home to many different festivals celebrating a number of different things.
Valley View News reporter Nick Popham tells us about a beer festival with a bit of a twist.
The month of October is the time for two specific things: dressing up in costumes and having beer. Those two pastimes are a staple at almost any beer festival around the world. But what makes this Octoberfest any different?
All right, the beer is perfect. Declare Vegan Octoberfest officially open. Please raise your glasses and join me on the count of
That's right, it's vegan. Vegan Octoberfest is celebrating its second year in Los Angeles, providing people with around 60 vendors distributing beer and all things vegan. From vegan cheese, to pretzels, to even, yes, you're seeing that right, faux bacon-covered donuts. A festival like this has gotten many people in the LA area excited for its return.
I had so much fun last year, met so many cool people, and the energy, I just had to come back. I was like, it's an excuse to come back and have a good time.
it's really interesting to be able to come to an alternative Oktoberfest and see that there are alternatives to what you would normally be drinking or eating.
Everyone is so happy. There's so much positive energy all around you. I mean, you go to any of these booths, everyone's very open and just excited to see you and welcoming.
Vegan Oktoberfest has been a success thus far, many people giving positive reviews of the day, though some people have come up and said that they aren't quite sure if everything here is actually vegan.
Right away we saw Shipyard Brewery was here, and we've come across, because we are very strict vegans, and their processes are not vegan.
It's vegan Oktoberfest, so it's if there's a star with some fine print that says not everything here will be vegan, then maybe I missed it. But if you tell me it's vegan Oktoberfest, one would assume it's a vegan Oktoberfest.
Despite some complaints, one of the event's coordinators, Jill Ryther, says you don't have to be vegan to enjoy this festival.
We offer more beers, unlimited pours from more beers than any other Oktoberfest, hands down, in California. So vegan or not, you want to drink a lot of good beer, you want to fill your cup up as many times as you can, this is the place to be.
Ryther went on to say this event does more than just pour and serve.
It goes towards Expand Animal Rights Now. It's a nonprofit. It's actually a nonprofit that I founded, and we use the legal system to help animals. So it really kind of goes hand in hand, so it's perfect.
So whether it's dancing the polka or trying your best to yodel, it doesn't take any real meat or dairy to have a good time. In downtown Los Angeles, Nick Popham, Valley View News.
Now let's go to entertainment news with Noemi Barajas.
Thank you, Serena. Actress and model Amber Rose participated in a demonstration at Los Angeles Pershing Square. Organizers called it a slut walk. Such protests started in 2011 after a police officer said women should not dress provocatively because it encouraged sexual assault. Amber Rose attended the walk wearing black lingerie and carried a sign that read, "Strippers have feelings too." People wanted to spread the message that women own their bodies and have a freedom of choice, but some people took to Twitter and said they disagreed that the walk will prevent future sexual violence. One of CSUN's most anticipated events brought thousands of students to a night full of loud music, food, and two of today's popular music entertainers. The Big Show brought hip-hop artist Tyga to open the show, followed by DJ Carnage, who is known for playing trap music. Doors opened at 5, but eager students arrived as early as 3 in the afternoon. Showgoers could get a great meal from a variety of food trucks and get their picture taken from several photo booths. At the end of the night, the Big Show left students looking forward to next year's event. The happiest place on earth is making its joy a little more expensive, at least for people who buy its top pass. Disneyland's Signature Plus passport will now cost just over $1,000. That's an increase of about $270. The upgraded pass includes free pictures that staffers take of Disney guests, which can cost as much as $200 without the pass. People who live near the park can still get discounts on all passes. The Martian, starring Matt Damon, took off and landed the #1 spot in the box office. It earned $55 million on its opening weekend. The animation film Hotel Transylvania 2 fell to #2, grossing $33 million. Sicario rounded out the top 3 with $12 million. Let's see if The Martian continues to top the charts in its second week. That's all for entertainment. Now back to you.
Thank you for watching this edition of Valley View News. I'm Serena Sandoval.
And I'm Maria Cartaya. Have a good day.